Metamora Police Chief Mike Todd says the decision to close schools is directly related to that racially charged video. 17th District Congresswoman Sherry Busto spoke today with education and manufacturing officials to gauge how the local economy is doing. After 3 failed attempts to create a citizens panel on redistricting, Brad McMillan says the strategy will change next time around. Derrick says the city wants to collaborate with a nonprofit to try and build more affordable housing.
A young man was beaten and bruised after a fight broke out inside Round 1 Entertainment. As 25 News reporter Denise Jackson reports, city officials say despite the incident, Peoria is a safe community. It's tonight's top story.
Tyler and Caitlin, Peoria city leaders say they are working together to try and curtail violence. Peoria police say about 50 people were involved in that brawl inside Round 1 Entertainment at Northwoods Mall. It spilled over outside the venue. Peoria Police Chief Jerry Mitchell says despite what happened last Saturday, people should know that Peoria is a safe place.
Statistically speaking, you were safer today than you were 4 years ago. You were safer today than you were last year at the same time. This is a safe community relative to what we're talking about today. So people need to come out and shop. They need to feel safe.
The chief was among several civic and community leaders who spoke during a news conference at City Hall Tuesday. One pastor says it's important for families to use this holiday time to talk about conflict resolution and building healthy relationships.
Our hope is that as a community, as we have more and more conversations, that we'll be stronger as a community, learning how to respond to different issues, whether they're adult with adult or child with child issues, whatever they may be. But it really takes all of us engaging in the conversation.
Mayor Jim Ardis says the pastors and others have been meeting and working behind the scenes.
What we're saying is our community stands united. It's a holiday season, and we want the community to know that we're all working together.
Chief Jerry Mitchell says there will be a large police presence at shopping centers throughout the holiday season. He's asking people if they see anything unusual to call police. Now, the police did not arrest anyone in connection with Saturday's fight at Round 1. The incident happened during the opening weekend. Tyler and Caitlin.
Federal officials say the opioid epidemic is not showing any signs of slowing down. But without federal funds really committed to fighting it, the problem is only expected to get worse.
But one man from Central Illinois facing time in federal prison now credits a judge for allowing him a treatment option. Here's 25 News reporter Denise Jackson with his story.
Musician Jack Crouch plays to a new tune these days.
Well, I'm great today. I have a very full life that I'm very happy about.
Crouch says as a teenager, he began experimenting with drugs. At 19, he started using heroin while in college. Crouch says he finally got into a program which helped him graduate and get a job. But after graduation, his life spiraled back into drugs. Crouch, an artist, says his life picture had gotten pretty dark, and 3 years ago he was facing 10 years to life on a federal indictment to distribute heroin.
3 strikes, you're out. I was supposed to do 10 to life. I was looking at a substantial amount of incarceration.
Crouch says the judge considered his college background, work experience, and the fact that he had supportive friends and offered him a chance for treatment. With this being his 3rd try at rehab, Crouch needed to make it work.
What led me to get clean and stay clean as long as I have was an indictment for conspiracy to distribute heroin.
The U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency says in 2016 there were 64,000 opioid deaths, a 19% increase over the previous year. Public health experts predict that 500,000 people will die from opioid overdoses in the next decade. Here's a look at local stats. In Peoria County, so far this year, there have been 38 opioid deaths compared to 19 last year. In McLean County, they've seen 33 opioid deaths so far this year compared to 16 last year.
It's going to be with us just like a lot of other chronic medical conditions are. What's out of control right now is this overdose epidemic, which I hope we can reverse.
Dr. Molberg says the negative stigma associated with addiction needs to be removed. He adds that can be done by raising awareness among the healthcare professionals. He also agrees that there are not enough treatment facilities. Jack Crouch says many people need to be in treatment longer than 30 to 60 days. Crouch and his girlfriend say recovery is a lifelong commitment.
We are constantly doing something for our recovery, like whether it's just like reading in like literature or talking about it to other people or at a meeting.
We call it a second surrender, which means that I believe I'm an addict through and through. I believe that I will always be an addict, right? And I know that I have to do whatever it takes, no matter what, if I don't want to use again, which means that that's my lifeline.
And with a new baby son, graduate school, and a job, Crouch says he hopes to stay on the road to recovery. In Peoria, Denise Jackson, 25 News.
We now have new information in the deadly shooting yesterday of a teenager near Columbia Terrace. He's been identified as 16-year-old Trayvon Harris. Reporter Denise Jackson is live in Peoria near the scene of the shooting with details tonight. Denise?
Trish, I spoke with a woman who lives near the alley behind me where Trayvon Harris was shot. She declined an on-camera interview, but says she immediately called 911 when she began hearing gunshots Sunday afternoon. Now, she says she saw Harris lying under a tree. When she looked out of her window, she yelled at him several times, trying to get a response, but says another teenager ran to Harris screaming, "Trey, Trey, Trey," and appeared to take something out of the victim's jacket and dumped it in a garbage can down the alley. Now, she tells me that police later found a gun in that garbage can. Peoria County Coroner Jamie Harwood says Harris died at the scene from 3 gunshot wounds to the chest.
16, he's our youngest homicide victim that we've had this year, which is unfortunate. All the lives are important. All of them make me sad. It's all a tragedy. But to say he's 16 just adds a little bit more weight on the sadness of it.
Peoria police say a second teen was shot and taken to OSF St. Francis Medical Center with non-threatening injuries. Now, the woman also told me police took 1 person in for questioning on Sunday, and Harris was a student at the Knoxville Center for Student Success. And right now, police don't have any suspects in that homicide. Live outside Columbia Terrace on Peoria's West Bluff, I'm Denise Jackson. Back to you, Trish.